flag and join us in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. The next item on our proposed agenda is approval of the agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda as presented?
Motion.
Ms. Hool, is there support?
Support.
Mr. Janke, are there any proposed additions, suggested deletions to the agenda as presented?
We need to add under unfinished business, I think. I don't see anywhere, C, UP engineers.
Yeah, there was a thing out
What's
there.
it called?
Thank you, we're adding UP Engineering,
Building request or something?
draw request,
request.
number 15. Unfinished business, an action item.
Yeah.
And please note, we do have a recommendation coming up from the Osceola Township Utility Board. I like the table, by the way.
Yeah, yep.
Anything else that we need to add from anyone's perspective?
Do we have to add approval of these minutes?
I'm sorry?
We got a special meeting here, do we have to add approval of those minutes?
No, that actually is an informational item only in your packet. They were approved at the last meeting. Just there for reference.
Okay.
Thank you for noting that. Any other additions or suggested deletions? Hearing none, then all in favor of the motion to approve the agenda now as amended, please indicate by saying aye.
Alright.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. We have an approved agenda for tonight's meeting. Item 5, approval of the minutes from the November 10th meeting. In your packet, you have a copy of the minutes from our most recent meeting, that of November 10th. Is there a motion to approve the minutes as presented?
Move.
I'm sorry?
Move.
Mr. Janke moves. Is there support?
Support.
Mr. Wareham, any suggested deletions, corrections, additions to the minutes as presented? Anyone? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion to approve the minutes as presented from our November 10th, 2021 meeting, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carries. Item 6, financial reports. You have in your packets, General Township, Road Fund, Basin Wastewater Fund, TC Water, and Osceola Township Water, also known as the utility boards. Would entertain a motion to accept the financial reports as presented for General Township, Road Fund, Mason Wastewater, TC Water / utility, and Osceola Township Water / utility. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Ms. Gardner moves. Is there support?
I'll support.
Ms. Wool supports. Motion and support to accept the financial reports from the aforementioned entities within the township government. Any questions, concerns about any of the reports?
Range telecommunications for $10,000, where is that?
Where is
It's
that?
a check detail, $10,000 check to Range Telecommunications,
For the general or water?
general.
I can't remember. I mean, I remember.
I remember it, but I don't remember
We'll wait
it.
a moment for them.
Yeah, I just seems like they're odd, I don't know if that's a cable thing or, I don't know what it is.
Cable, I think, would be with
That's
Spectrum and
right.
Yeah,
Charter.
that'd be Spectrum and Charter.
For which, where is this now?
Check detail.
Does that tank, isn't that tank run on, isn't there a, isn't that with Range Communications, that dialer?
Is that thing right?
Yeah, but that,
That's a have some, we have them fix something up there, or?
Didn't we order something?
Just a new meter, that's all.
And then with the other ones?
Is there a date of the check?
I'm just trying to think of what what we deal with that company, that's the only thing I know of, is the Range Communications is.
10,000. The only one I have in here for range telecommunications is 400 and something.
Would it be a typographical error?
For the fire department,
That 400 one
426.
here is here too.
The fire department, we bought a bunch of radios,
I got that one.
Oh, is that what that was for?
but was that with Range, did we do that through Range Communications?
Um,
I think we did, eh?
That's
It's
what it was.
426.
Okay, that may be what it is, cause we got that grant.
Yeah, I
Oh,
think that's what it
is.
was.
Okay,
We had that
grant from Portage Health Foundation?
Yeah,
Yes,
That's what it is.
then we put that with
So
them.
we had a grant,
Okay.
that's
Okay.
a fire department.
I wrote a
thing.
grant. No, Christina wrote.
Thank you.
But why didn't
That,
you check
all of a
it?
sudden,
Why
light
isn't it
bulbs
in
are
there?
going on for me too. That was the grant from the Portage Health Foundation.
Okay.
In all likelihood,
It sounds like it.
yeah.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
I just don't know
It's
why
not
it's
here,
not
not
in
in
there.
any of them. Mm-mm.
Probably-
I suspect that's what it is.
Was it from last?
Given,
That sounds
we
about
accept
right.
that with the understanding that we will follow up
That's
and find an answer. I think we have identified what it probably is, but we need to track down the paperwork.
That's fine.
It probably just made it into October's because it was done on first.
Oh,
Yeah.
Is that acceptable? We'll have a response, a formal response at the next meeting relative to what's for, but it sounds like it was the grant. Any other questions about the financial reports? Mr. Jenke?
The road fund, looks like there's, for the Dollar Bay District, it looks like there's, just a question, it looks like there's like 95 in there. Have we not paid for that, some of the work done yet, or,
No, we just got
The
an
invoice from the road commission, to clarify, is sitting on Tracy's desk.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alright.
So we hope to put the check out probably as early as next week.
How much was that for, do you remember?
I have the reports in my office. If
No,
you
that's
wait a moment.
okay, I just was looking at the 95 and wondering, and I,
We came in under in precinct 2, slightly
remember
over
that.
in precinct 1 and 4.
okay.
The difference was a few $100s up in precinct 4, ultimately because of the cost of the golf course road.
Did that golf course road get done then? Did that
It's
all?
done.
Yeah, okay.
All the roads that we had them do are done.
That was,
But
I'm good, I'm good.
We'll start off.
Are we ready to vote on the motion to accept the financial reports?
Yes.
Accept? We're accepting them. You do a roll call, please, to accept the financials, given the questions. Came up. Roll call vote, everyone.
Sure.
Ms. Burns?
Yeah.
Mr. Jenkins?
Sure.
Mr. Wareham?
Yes.
Mr. Huckabee?
Yes.
Okey-dokey.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Item 7, approval of payment of the bills. General fund, road fund, Mason fund, Tamarack City, water/utility, Osceola Township, water/utility. Any questions, concerns about the bills? If not, do I have a motion to approve payment of the bills?
I'll make a motion.
Got a motion from Ms. Gardner to approve payment of the bills.
I'll support.
And there's support for the motion to pay the bills. Any questions about the bills utilizing the general fund, road fund, Mason fund, Tamarack City water/utility fund, Osceola Township water/utility fund? Since I'm in a rhythm here, hearing no questions, could I have another roll call vote, please, to
Gardner.
approve payment?
Yes.
Mr. Jenkins?
Yep.
Mr. Wareham?
Yes.
Mr. Huckabee?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. We've arrived at the first of 2 public comment sessions for the township board meeting. Anyone wishing to address the board will be given an opportunity at this time, be given up to 3 minutes. If you'd like to, please identify yourself, and the clock will begin running when you start speaking. Anybody interested at this time?
Horace Schmidt, from last month's minutes, you'll be updating us on the ice rink installation. at today's nice meeting. And, will that include information on whether it's gonna be installed, this winter or next?
It will be a complete update.
Okay. And then, Zane Erkes of OHL is going to present, information on the snowmobile trail. Do you have any information from him that should be presented tonight?
That is being deferred to our January meeting.
Okay, and then, I didn't see anything about the secretary's position, is that, been filled?
Remains vacant.
Okay, so any further discussion later in the meeting? Any further discussion about the position later in the meeting?
Only that the position is posted and we continue to receive inquiries, but no applications.
Okay, and, the other question is, on the, increase in pay for that secretarial position, is that being budgeted into the 2022 budget?
The budgets are being amended. All decisions on salaries and amended budgets will be made at a future board meeting and will be predicated on the conditions relative to the person being hired. There are ranges that we have identified, but nothing is set yet. We've taken no formal action.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Anyone else that would like to address the board at this time? Be given up to 3 minutes. Please identify yourself. And the time will begin once you begin speaking. Hearing none, please note that there will be a second opportunity provided at the end of our meeting prior to adjournment. Thank you. Please note the time, Ms. Wolf. Next item on our agenda are reports. We do not have report from our assessor. Please note that there is a board of review meeting a week from tomorrow here at 10 a.m. It's a December meeting, and I believe it is primarily to deal with errors et al.
Corrections only.
Right. But the meeting is scheduled to convene at 10 a.m. in this room on the 16th of December, which is next Thursday. Maintenance, we do not have a maintenance person at this time. Please note that we did contact our former maintenance person who had agreed some time ago, if the position was not filled, to do plowing for us. And that has occurred each day this week because of the weather conditions. There's one footnote, while plowing at the ice rink to clear stuff out, the vehicle slid and the mirror got, housing was broken. Replacement of the mirror housing on the mirror at all on the truck will cost $117 up to. That repair as a result of the icy conditions. But,
Ice conditions on an ice rink?
yeah, I thought that was a little ironic too.
Bad tires.
Thank you. I'm glad you caught that. I wasn't gonna say anything. Osceola Township Waterboard action items. We do have one action item coming up from the utility board, and that is the purchase of tires from Fine Line Tire. At this moment, I would entertain a motion
There was the tire shop,
Yeah.
from the tire shop, yeah. What did I say?
Fine Line.
I apologize.
Oh, the
From
same.
the tire shop to purchase from the tire shop in Hancock, $861 and change, if I recall correctly. Do I have a motion to accept the recommendation from the utility board and purchase the tires as expeditiously as
I'll
possible?
motion,
Pardon?
I'll motion.
Ms. Hool, is there support for the purchase of the tires from the tire shop in Hancock?
I'll support.
We have support. Any further discussion on the motion to purchase the tires from the tire shop, not Fine Line, like I said before, apologize for that. Tire shop in Hancock, for $861, I believe it's what, 74 cents?
76.
76 cents, I stand corrected. Any further discussion?
Do you have a maximum, don't you have a maximum of $1,000 that,
Yeah.
I'm just gonna bring that up real quick.
I know that, but we are acting on a recommendation coming up.
Okay, yeah, I'm just,
Yep.
that's throwing that out there, okay.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
but
Just buy
given that latitude and we're spending money, roll call vote very quickly on the motion then to approve the purchase.
Yep,
Yeah,
Mr.
Trace.
Jenke,
Yes.
Mr. Ware,
Yes.
Mr. Hookwell,
Yes.
and yes.
Yes, I need to.
Okay.
And Ms. Wool, yes.
Yes.
Unanimous, make the purchase. I apologize for the error on the entity that we're purchasing from. Dollar Bay Fire Department. We did not receive a report. There was apparently no meeting in November due to the holiday season, as I understand it.
Mhm.
In your packet, you will find a report from the Dollar Bay First Responders. Tamarack City Fire Department, no report. I'm going to assume for the same holiday reasons. That's an assumption on my part. You have a Tamarack City Utility Board meeting, agenda, minutes from the previous meeting, and a secretary's report. You also have, I believe, 3 pages from the Torch Lake
These
Sewer
were the
Committee.
meeting last week, that's all.
We had it in the
There's one thing that is in your packet that I'd like to note relative to the Tamarack City Utility Board meeting. We have had questions raised about the property on which the meter vault sits. We have clarification on that right to be there that we obtained from Travis Engineering Services via Mr. Subpoena to clarify, and that information will go out to the person raising the question.
Who is the person raising the question?
A gentleman by the name of Laura, who bought the property, of Osprey in Tamarack City. We believe we now have the documentation necessary, and I will follow up, however, in the next several days with the road commission to confirm the information. It's in your
What
packet.
does he do? What is he asking?
We bought a little chunk of land behind Tamarack on Osprey Avenue.
Okay,
A fire hydrant's there and our main water
Meter.
system, meter is there.
so my question would immediately be, his deed should, if his deed if it's inflicting upon his deed as an easement of some sort, it should immediately be, it should be shown on his, through his purchase. Should it not?
But it is.
Why do we have to prove anything?
Well, I don't know what.
He keeps coming to us with inquiries. We've gone to Travis Engineering and have provided us with the documentation dating back to the starting of the
So
project.
my next concern would be, was the documentation and the easements executed?
Yes, it's
Yeah.
okay.
Now, these are duly signed documents from 2012. There's a copy of it in your packet.
Yeah, he bought it when I was doing his homework and thought he owned it all, and then came back and said he wanted us to move those things, and we had to show him the easement.
That's what
But I
we're,
mean, it should be on his deed, there shouldn't be any question.
well, my understanding is, and I could be wrong, is that he inquired at the courthouse about the property and the, if you will, the right to be there was granted because of their right of way from the road commission. And that's what the documentation is that's in your packet, dating back to 2012.
Alright,
Supervisors report. I have a number of items, and I promised myself I will try to do this in 7 minutes or less, because most of this is pending. I will give you the list afterwards if you think that would be helpful. I have a scheduled meeting with the township attorney to go over a number of issues and items that have come up over the last several months. We've had to postpone it twice because of his meeting schedule and my health, and for the record, I'm recovering from an acute sinus condition. It's nothing more serious than that, but it was pretty serious, so. We will meet on the 21st. Zane Herkus from OHM will be here on the 12th of January to talk about the snowmobile trail and the progress made relative to DNR's acquiring of the property in Tamarack City to complete the trail. We mentioned at the past meeting, and I'll reiterate, that the 21-22 amended budgets are a work in progress. With the updated financials and what have you, we should be able to present those budgets for the board's review at our January 12th meeting. Semco update, they're looking to put a new line into the Dollar Bay area. conversations, with a gentleman from Semco relative to the line. I know that there are property owners that also have questions about property that is there, but we are going to be meeting and talking with him about options for running the lines into Dollar Bay. My understanding is he intends to meet with property owners as well that may or may not be in proximity to where the line is going in with regards to their property.
I thought they had kind of backed off on that route that they were talking about by the ball field.
They've actually now changed their mind for a third time and are looking for something that is now south of the ball field, still coming down what is A Street, as I understand it, off of Airport Road. So we'll wait to hear from them when they provide us with more definitive information. I don't have it yet, but meetings are gonna be scheduled this month.
Sometime next week.
Mdot Leases have been forwarded along with checks to pay them. We're waiting signature from them. We've received copies of the Torch Lake Sewage Authority and North Houghton County Sewage Systems Articles of Incorporation. They're currently under review. Footnote there is, we do have a vacancy at North Houghton. We have a letter that was shared last month about Mr. Coppel's reappointment. He's interested in being reappointed. The board could act as early as this evening on that request if it's your desire to fill the vacancy. There's a little ambiguity in the Articles of Incorporation when they talk about fiscal year. I'm not exactly sure whose fiscal year they're referring to, theirs, ours, the state's, etc. So we apparently have a vacancy up there. The thought was if the board is interested in filling it, we could, with Mr. Koppel, to continue in that capacity, given all that's going on, we could act on it as early as this evening, and my recommendation would be a 2-year appointment.
Is that what the statutes say, or?
It can be up to, I believe, 4 years, but right now they're in a transitional period. I thought that it would allow us to.
Was his term up legitimately, or?
Well, it was up at
or
the
is
end
it
of
up because
September,
of all the
according
stuff
to
they're
them.
doing?
That led me to believe it was their fiscal year, but it's right in the middle of our fiscal year. And I've been trying to figure out whose fiscal year applies here, so that's a question for our attorney. And he's either still in good standing, because our fiscal year doesn't end until March 31st. On the other hand, if we're appointing on their timeframes, it's a little ambiguous in the Articles of Incorporation, so we need to explore this, but we can certainly act this evening if that's the board's pleasure, or we could wait until our January meeting and act if I've got some clarity from our attorney.
Do we have to do that now? It's not, I don't see it on here.
It's not on the agenda, it's simply part of my report, but I did bring it to the board's attention at our last meeting, if I recall correctly.
No.
Can we act on it right now?
We could act on it right now, or we could wait till next month and clarity from our attorney. What's the board's pleasure?
No one else shows interest in it,
No.
He's done it for a while.
I don't have a problem with him.
Me neither.
I'll make a motion to
Well-
reappoint.
For a 2-year term?
Mm-hmm.
We have a motion from Ms. Gardner to reappoint this
Support.
evening Bruce Koppel to a 2-year term on the North End Sewage Authority Board.
Support.
We have a support from Mr. Janke. Any further discussion on the motion to reappoint Mr. Koppel to a 2-year term effective immediately on the North Houghton Sewage Authority Board? Make sure the language is technically correct. Over to the Articles of Incorporation. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion to reappoint Mr. Koppel to a 2-year term on the Sewage Authority Board, please indicate by saying aye.
Okay.
Opposed, same sign, motion carries. We'll notify everybody before the end of the week. Mr. Paul Asari is ill, and we've had to postpone our meeting relative to the trash on the corner and junk cars. But Tim hopes to feel better next week, and I'll be contacting him either tomorrow or Friday to set up a meeting. I've already referenced and talked about, as the board has, Mr. Laura's letter relative to the property in Tamarack City. It's in your packet. We've taken care of Mr. Koppel. I mentioned previously minor damage to the truck as a result of sliding on the ice by the rink with our former maintenance person plowing snow. Tim Gaspard was scheduled to be at the Tamarack City Utility Board meeting this month. He and I played phone tag prior to that meeting, and when we finally connected, he said, can I come in January? We're right in the middle of discussions that might have relevance for our purchase of the Michigan American Water Company. I said, certainly we can, and we have re-invited him to the January 5th meeting in Tamarack City. Board of Review, as I previously mentioned, meets on the 16th, and I did have 2 conversations with Mr. Gigak relative to blight issues. The snow has slowed him down slightly, but he does intend to get stuff out from in front of that building during the forecast warmer weather over the next several days. He is also going to provide us with a written update of his schedule, so. And I think I did it. That's all I have.
I think you did pretty good. We waylaid you a couple times.
6.5 minutes.
6.5? I should leave right now.
I think you got it down.
You go get a lottery ticket. Things are going right.
Thank you.
Yes.
If my sinuses clear up, then things are going right. Thank you. Unfinished business, maintenance position. No specific recommendation coming up from our earlier session. There was a discussion post-interview. What is the board's pleasure?
I moved to rehire Scott as the maintenance person. I don't think I have to add to that.
We have a motion from Mr. Janke to rehire Mr. Reed as
Do we have to
the
talk about salary at all?
maintenance person
I don't know.
for Osceola Township.
Is that
We
something?
have to have the salary in the motion, or can that be determined later?
No, I think we determined that. We're in the process of reviewing all the
So
salaries.
we're just gonna leave it as things
It
are.
would be as is until we make a decision to change the salaries. So I have a motion. Is there a support for the motion?
I'll support it.
Support for Mr. Waring. Is further discussion on the motion to rehire Mr. Reed as the maintenance person for the township? With the note that the salary and whatever will be discussed at our upcoming meeting. Any discussion? If not,
Do we want to discuss the possibility of keeping him on, Mark on the hook somehow?
well, that could be a separate motion, is that we indicate that there may be a need for his talent, skills, and what have you, and would he be amenable to further consideration for his employment as winter, spring?
Well, we're
Progresses.
thinking winter thing, at least until JD gets back.
Well,
And depending on some of the money that gets spent here, maybe more, so.
that's just it. We'll have to probably discuss this in earnest at our January meeting, if I may offer. So we know what kind of resources we've got, what we can anticipate, and what we're looking at going after relative to infrastructure at all.
I guess from a discussion point of view, I feel like the latitude should be there for you to discuss with him, the results of this meeting and discuss that we're still looking at a further
Opportunity for him with the township?
Yeah, that's the right word, yeah.
So the motion is to hire Mr. Reed and then approach Mr. Maloya to let him know that there may be future opportunities and will he avail himself to those.
So people are hard to find for this kind of stuff.
I know.
Yes, they are, especially ones that know what they're doing.
Does that sort of capture your intent?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. So we have an amended motion in essence to say that we will offer the position to Mr. Reed. It's been approved and supported with the understanding that we will approach Mr. Malloy and ask him about future opportunities we envision and is he interested in any or all of them.
I know that in the past, I know we talked about this with the summer help, but there was, almost always we've had 2 people.
Yep.
So,
I'll pursue it with both of them. I'll contact them both in the next 48 hours.
Okay.
Except, you ready for a vote?
I'm done.
Let's, roll call vote.
Drag that
The
out
motion
anymore.
to offer the position to Mr. Reed. Ms. Gardner, please.
Mr. Jenke?
Yes.
Mr. Waring?
Yes.
Mr. Hopla?
Yes.
Yes, myself, and Tracy's absent.
Motion carries unanimously with one person absent. Ice rink update, quick handout for you. It's, please take a copy. It's one sentence. This is from Travis at TWE Contracting. We are working on the ice rink boards. We have about half of them completed. We plan to have the rink set up by the 18th of December, period.
When they were down there yesterday, scraped all the board rink off with their bobcat. It's all scraped off and they dropped off maybe another dozen boards
Yeah.
this afternoon, so
Yeah,
they're working on it.
he is hopeful of having it done
Yeah.
by a week from tomorrow, a week from Friday at the latest. Excuse me.
I'm excited.
The 18th is Saturday, I apologize.
I'm excited about it, and I think community members are too, so,
Agreed.
It's exciting stuff, and he sent a quick note off to Krista as a result of conversation with me, and I said I would share it with you both.
is he ready to build a roof too, or?
Now we've got the boards coming. We did not explore other options.
Ah!
Item C under unfinished business is the draw request from UP Engineering. I believe there's a copy of it on the table here.
Yeah, I got it right here.
Okay.
Mm.
Please, Ms. Gardner, if you would share that with the board.
Yeah, the total is $794.60. UP Engineering, invoice $219.20, reimbursement to us for, operating and maintenance $249.15, and our capitalized interest payment coming out $326.25 for a total $794.60.
Do I have a motion relative to the resolution to approve it and authorize the payment?
I'll make the motion.
Motion from Ms. Gardner, is there support?
I'll support it.
A motion and support. Is there any further discussion on the motion for the 15th draw relative to the Mason Sewer Project covered in the motion by Ms. Gardner?
What about the Mdot stuff here, is that coming out of this, or is that still?
He's still looking. He
It's
had to
still pending.
contact,
Let the MDOT stuff relative to the,
Yes,
The
I-
lease,
that's
yes.
pending right now.
Yeah.
he's
We're
checking
waiting to
with
get our
the
paperwork
party.
back from them.
Okay, alright, that's fine.
Any other discussion on the motion to approve the resolution to authorize the payment? Hearing a roll call vote, please, Ms. Gardner?
Mr. Jenke,
Abstain.
Mr. Wareham,
Yes.
Mr. Hokla,
Yes.
myself, yes, and Tracy's absent.
Motion carries 3-0 with one absent. Thank you. Tabled items, please note them. Elm Street Restoration Plan. Continue to get inquiries, as I indicated at the previous meeting. The second is that there is a handout requested relative to the parcel in Tamarack City and the proposed plan for the land split. I've been exchanging messages with Greg. He wanted the information distributed for review. I indicated to him that if the board wishes to discuss it with him, would he avail himself, this is in the form of a message, for our January 12th meeting. So that is for your casual review to his plan. I told him that, would he avail himself to respond to questions and whatever on the 12th of January. That's all I have on that, is the information presented and the opportunity for him to come to our next board meeting. Questions, comments, concerns, or continue?
Is there another copy? Did you get two?
Yeah, there's
Okay, no, I'm just gonna
There's the
stick one in
extras.
Tracy's packet.
There's some extras here.
Nope, forgot it. Thanks.
Moving on to new business, we do have, for action this evening, Charter Communications franchise renewal, which brought up at our last meeting, and just to refresh everyone's memory. I did talk briefly with our attorney. I was gonna forward material to him, but he said this is a standard template. We need to execute that this month. It will be forwarded to them, I believe it's for a 10-year period, if I recall correctly from my reading of it. We currently have a 3% administrative fee. Thought was that we leave the fee as is, and that we approve the franchise continuance with Charter Communications.
Motion to approve the franchise agreement with 3% fee.
We have a motion to approve the franchise agreement with 3% fee. Is there support?
Sure.
There is support. Any further discussion on the charter franchise renewal and the continuance of the 3% administrative fee? Hearing none, roll call vote please. There's money involved.
Mr. Jenke,
Yes.
Mr. Warren,
Connor going on, she's not,
Wait, I'm distracted there for a second.
okay, so was I, Mr. Hupla,
Yes.
and myself, yes, one absent.
4 in favor, 1 absent. We'll execute the document, get it forwarded ideally before the end of the week. B, under new business, CCISD tax collection. Information.
Yep. Oh, we just have to approve collecting their taxes, next year.
We've done this all the last time.
Forever.
Do I have a motion to honor the request from the ISD to follow their format relative to tax collection on their behalf?
Second.
Let the record show that we have a motion from both Mr. Janke and Mr. Wareham simultaneously and supports equally
Can't do
simultaneously.
that if we tried.
I don't think we've ever had that happen before. That was really quite good, guys. We have a motion and support to approve the request from the Copper Country ISD relative to tax collection. Is there any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carries, thank you very much. Before I call for public comment one more time, are there any items that require attention from the board's perspective? Anything that we need to address that we have not from any other standpoint? Hearing none, we have reached the end of our agenda. Provide one more opportunity for public comment. Anybody present? We would ask only that you identify yourself and you would be given up to 3 minutes to offer comment for the board's consideration. Is there anybody present that would like to comment for the township board before a motion to adjourn?
Boris Schmidt, if I recall, Mr. Reed, left, employment here, and from what I recall from the county board meeting, he was hired by by Houghton County. And I was wondering if he's, has this job as well as the county job?
The answer is no.
So he's no longer employed by the county?
He's no longer employed by the county, that's our understanding.
Okay, I just wanted a clarification on that, thank you.
You're welcome. Would anyone else like to offer? Of course, was that it?
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
it.
thank you. I didn't mean to interrupt if you had something else. Anybody else that would like to offer input to the board, comment on anything heard this evening, or an issue that you would like us to consider? You have up to 3 minutes. Hearing none, we'll close the second public comment session. Please note the time, Ms. Gardner.
Yep.
Thank you. Anything else? There's no other issues to come before the board. A motion to adjourn is in order.
Move.
Mr. Janke, is there support? Support. Mr. Wareham, we have a motion and support to adjourn. All in favor of the motion to adjourn, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. We stand adjourned. Thank you, everyone. Have a great holiday.
You too.
And I'm gonna go and put my sinuses to rest.
My dog is pretty
Did
upset.
you sign that?
Probably eat your supper.
Maybe.
We'll use that for the police.
Yeah.
I'll deliver this in the